Michael, you ready? Who does not know Michael Essek? Who has not heard the name? Where have you been, Paul? Come on. He's like more famous than me in the world of print-on-demand t-shirts, right? I just snuck in and tried to steal his thunder. He was here first, right? That's a true story, though, right? You were here first. Yeah.
I think you were first.
I took merch first, right? Yeah.
Okay, first of all, let me say just thank you to Chris and Ken for putting this together. Chris just mentioned that who was here first, him or me. I remember coming across Chris. I can't remember when. It must have been like early October or November, 2015, and he'd put this course together on merch, and he was doing like webinars and stuff. And I was like, who is this clown? His designs are horrible. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But honestly, I sat through one of his webinars, and there was like 2 or 3 things in there. I was like, this guy's an idiot. But then he said like 2 or 3 things that just like, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could see the BSR and see how things were selling, because I'd never sold on Amazon before. I think, honestly, there's so much, you can learn something from everybody, right? You can learn something from, you already know everything you know. You know what I mean? Everybody knows something you don't know. So I just really want to thank Chris. He's been awesome help. Him and Ken have put this thing together, and haven't they done an amazing job? It's just been, it's something else. And you may have seen me over there taking notes. I've not been taking notes. I've actually been peeking over Ken's shoulder, and I've been jotting down the titles of all his merch shirts. So if you want to come see me afterwards, I'll be selling the list for... No, not really, but I thought it'd be great if we could just get... I know Ken did this earlier on, but if we could get just a hands up kind of thing on where everyone's at. So would you do me a favor, just stretch up and everybody stick your hands in the air. So keep your hands up if you are making over $100 a month with merch currently. So you're making over 100. Okay, how many people are making over 500? Over 1,000? Over 2,000? Over 5,000? Over 10,000? Over 15,000? Over 20,000? Oh, go on, Ken, qualify it. Okay, great. So that's great. Yeah. I just thought, I was on a plane, like my plane was canceled yesterday, and then I had like 5 extra hours, so I was trying to put a presentation together, and I was like, I don't know, what people want to hear and what levels people are at. So I've tried to throw together just a few things, and I tried to give like a bit of a mix of a bit of strategy, and there's some real like practical stuff just later on. So if you have questions, feel free to just stick your hands up and ask them. Otherwise, I'll just get straight to this. So let me just check here that I've covered everything I wanted to say. How many people had Eclipse shirts, by the way? Okay, about half people. How many people were on that kind of before it really started happening on merch? A few people? Okay. First one after. See, I had no idea. Obviously, I'm from the UK, so I assume you know that we didn't have an Eclipse. But honestly, if you would have told me like a few months before that there's going to be an Eclipse, because obviously we didn't know anything about it, I would have been like, so what? Like, who's going to buy an Eclipse shirt? I cannot believe that Americans go crazy for Eclipse shirts. Like, it's a black shirt with an eclipse, and then the date. Like, what? But there's a lesson there. You need to just follow the money and produce stuff, even if you don't think it's going to be a big one. So that's cool. So anyway, if you don't know anything about me, I'm a graphic designer / illustrator, kind of by trade. I was a web designer for about 7 years. I've always been into T-shirts and kind of the T-shirt business. I've come very close a few times to buying like a bulk order of like screen printed shirts and starting my own brand, and never quite did it. So when I discovered things like Redbubble, print on demand, and that you could set up your own thing without the initial outlay. I was like, whoa, okay, this is great. So I've always had that interest, and merch was an amazing opportunity, really the perfect opportunity for me. I was already selling on print-on-demand sites like Redbubble and TeePublic, and I was making a couple of thousand a month, but it was nothing crazy. And then merch came, and just like that money just doubled almost immediately, and then just shot up from there. So honestly, I could not have imagined a better opportunity than merch. It was perfect. I remember thinking and looking at Amazon and thinking, how do I sell on Amazon? And I was thinking, oh, it's a pain. You've got to sign up and do this and that and the other. I was like, it'd be great if Amazon just created their own print-on-demand system, and I could just plug into it. And they did. So I don't know who was working for Amazon who had the idea, but it was great. So I want to help. This is kind of why I started the blog and stuff. I was doing a graphic design job. It was a 9 to 5. It just paid the bills. I didn't really like it or love it. But I knew that I had skills and abilities and creative talents that I could do something with if I just had the right opportunity. And I know that you probably know people like that. They might not be artists or designers. It might be musicians or something. And that's their passion, but they can't find a way to make it work financially. And they're kind of scrapping by or doing day jobs, and maybe they make a little bit on the side. So that's what I wanted to do, was help people who were in my situation. Might be a young person, might be an older person, but someone who's got a skill and they want to find a way to make it work. And I think print on demand, obviously we're here for merch, but the wider print on demand picture is a real huge opportunity for designers and creatives like that. So let me just tell you about my income channel. So if you've read my blog, then I usually do like a review every quarter or something. Merch is my biggest single channel for income. I make somewhere around 15,000 a month, depending on the month, something like that, just from merch. So that's my biggest single channel. Redbubble, TeePublic, a few other print-on-demand sites. Everybody familiar with Redbubble and TeePublic? So you understand these are basically the same idea as merch. They're just smaller websites and stuff like that. I'm on a few I've just called them non-POD sites because I don't know what else to call them, but anybody know Busted Tees? It's like one of the big funny t-shirt websites. T-Fury is another one. So these are sites where you can't upload designs, but sometimes people will reach out if they see like a design that's selling well, and they'll say, hey, we like this design, we'd like to sell it on Busted Tees or whatever, and then you get a cut of the royalties and stuff. And it's not a huge money spinner, but it's a really nice one because they obviously do all the marketing and they do everything for you, and they have a massive email list and stuff. And similar with T-Fury. So those are a couple of things that make some money for me. Etsy is doing great for me this past month. I've just got all my designs up on Etsy, and with a little bit of advertising spend, which is very easy to do in Etsy. You just like tick a button and you've got Etsy advertising on Google Shopping for you. You can really see some great returns, and I've seen that kick off the past month. And I have a Shopify store as well, which I drive traffic through Instagram, and I've kind of taken my foot off the pedal a little bit on that, but still a great way to kind of drive some traffic and to get some customers that you can hold on to in the long term. So this is my trajectory of kind of my income. So this is a month by month. So this was August. I think this line is this is in pounds. So it's like £10,000 or something. So this would be like my royalties only income or something like that from merch. Sorry, not from merch, but from all my PODs. Now there's some stuff that's not included in here, but so can anyone see where like merch started maybe? Yeah. So this was Christmas 2015, so obviously merch was here. And there was like a little kind of dip there, and then it just went kapow. And so I was telling a few other guys that kind of around last Christmas, I don't know if anyone remembers the situation last Christmas. Amazon was cracking down quite heavily on a lot of things. And honestly, I had a lot of designs that were really borderline, some that were over the borderline. Things that were, whether it was profanity or parody and that kind of thing, that was a lot of my bread and butter. So I took a lot of designs down in December, and I was expecting a drop, and then, we got a drop. And since then, I've kind of had to rebuild the account, and it's taken me, longer than I would have liked, really. But I switched tactics. So this year, I was doing a lot of what I would call trend chasing. So I was, checking daily and chasing trends. And this year, I've not done that at all, and I've just kind of built up a kind of evergreen portfolio of designs, and it's been slower progress. But it works. So, I'm happy with the progress there, and I think it just goes to show there's different ways of attacking merch and making money on merch. So that's my kind of trajectory. So today, I don't know how long this is going to take, and I do want to get to questions quickly, but I just thought I'd talk a little bit about merch as part of the bigger picture and how it can be something that supports something bigger for you and where to focus your time. I thought I'd talk a little bit about creating pop culture t-shirts, because that's kind of my bread and butter, is pop culture, funny type of stuff. And I've got 3 quick tips, like practical stuff. Actually, it's more like 2, but we'll see how far we get. Guys, if you're doing merch, you might think, if someone asks you what you do, you say, I sell t-shirts online or something. We are not in the t-shirt business. If you're selling on merch, you are in the licensing business. And I think this is a fact that very few people understand, and I understand why that is. It's because the licensing thing is kind of, you never really come across this word licensing unless you read into the small print. But that is what you are doing with merch. You are producing designs that you are licensing to Amazon to sell on your behalf. And there's a difference there between selling t-shirts to a customer, like you might do through a Shopify store, or selling a design or licensing a design to a company. And with Amazon, and I know the model's been around, there's sites like Zazzle and Cafe Press, they've been around for maybe 10 years or something, but it's new with Amazon, and the model is new, and the industry is new. And, as we saw with, the lawyer, sorry, I forget her name, but, a lot of this stuff there's no clear cut. We're in completely new territory here. It's almost the Wild West of what's okay, what's not okay, what's legal, what's not legal. We're finding this stuff out as we go. And this licensing model is new as well. So if you think about the way licensing would work, and how it still does work in many ways, is you have a company, maybe they're a manufacturer, let's say they make backpacks for kids or something like that. So they produce backpacks and they sell them through Walmart or something like that. And they have this idea we're selling backpacks and this is going great. What if we could put, Mickey Mouse on our backpacks? We'd probably sell a lot more of these backpacks. So they phone up Disney and they say, hey, we'd like to put Mickey Mouse on our backpacks. How do we go about doing that? And then they would enter into a licensing agreement where Disney say, yes, you can use the rights to our property. And the deal is something like this. And usually it works out something like, if you saw Ken's talk a couple of months ago, then a little bit about this, but usually it would be a percentage of the royalties of the sales, and then there'd be usually like a guaranteed minimum of what they can expect in royalties, and that kind of thing. And it would be time limited. It would say this contract will last for a couple of years, at which point it can be renewed or cancelled or whatever. And that's the kind of way this would work. It's licensing. And I think I'm not going to go into it much more than that, except to say I would really advise that you familiarize yourself with the licensing world, whether that's buying a couple of books. There's a couple of magazines, like monthly magazines, that focus on the licensing industry. And if you can get into that and just kind of expose yourself to that world, I think you'll find there's a lot of opportunities there that merch is really kind of just part of that picture. And the licensing world is a lot bigger. And I won't linger on that one for now, but if you want to ask questions about that later, then of course we can talk about it. Merch is part of the bigger picture. Is merch supporting you and your business plans, or are you supporting merch? Now, obviously, this is a two-way street. That's what licensing is. You have the licensee, you have the licensor, and the idea is that you two kind of combine, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship. No one's taking advantage of anyone. Two people are working together. And that's the way I think is the most logical way to approach merch. Don't think of it as this self-contained system that you're going to make all your money and you're going to focus all your attention on. Think of it as something that can help you with your bigger plans. and think how it can support you and your brand and how you could build, your own store or your own brand around things. I think, I know a lot of us, I've been talking to a few guys here already, we're in this mode of non-branded, you might call it. Like our designs are detached from any kind of brand. We're simply producing slogans or funny jokes or whatever, some kind of design, and it's not attached to any brand that we own or anything like that. And I think as we move forward in the future, this is just kind of my prediction, I think Amazon is really going to shift, and we can already see this already. They're already working with AMC, they're working with Marvel, they're bringing in big brands. And I think Amazon wants to work with brands. I think they like the fact that there's brand equity out there that they can tap into. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? You see that this kind of brands exist. And I think if you position yourself more as a brand, you're much more likely to kind of get long-term success. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I don't want to create a brand, or what kind of brand could I create? I have so many different designs across 100 different niches. How can I niche that down into one brand? The good thing about brands is that, you can have 10, 20 different brands really if you wanted to. There's no one stopping you doing that. You can do that on merch. You could have multiple Redbubble accounts. You could have multiple TeePublic accounts. But I think if you put yourself in that mindset, what is your brand? What brand are you going to create? It might be something like, funny dog t-shirts or something. Or it might be something that's a lot broader than that. It might be something based around a kind of artwork style or something. Maybe it's some kind of like floral artwork designs or something. There's so many ways you can, attack a brand. But honestly, I would like, if someone came to me and said, what advice do you have for someone starting today? If they're a creative, if they're a designer, I would say find a kind of focus for what you're doing. Don't be scatterbrain all over the shop. Have something that you're really focused on. You can do the other stuff as well, but at least spend some focused time on something that you're creating that's yours, that could have a brand name attached. It's going to have a Facebook page. It's going to have, people interested in it that like it for what it is. I mean, I have this Instagram account. It's something like 20,000 followers now. It's great to know that you can go on there and post a design or a picture and know that it's going to get 100, 200 likes or whatever, and it's going to get 15 comments, and a few people are going to say, where can I get it, how much, da-da-da-da-da. That gives you a confidence in what you're producing. And obviously it takes time to get there, but that's available because of the channels that we've got out there. So don't be thinking like, oh, I don't want to do a brand, I just want to create the odd design and just, do a little bit here and a little bit there. Honestly, I think the big winners from platforms like merch are going to be those of us who create something of real meaning and value, and that is going to be kind of a brand, is the best way I can describe it. So that's why I see merch and the other t-shirt platforms as a way you want to move from organic and search, and you want to move over towards your brand. You want to be taking that equity that you're producing, whether that's actual money, which obviously you should be making some royalties from the organic sales, and then investing that into things that are brand related. So advertising for your brand, spending time creating better quality designs for your brand, whatever that might be. This is kind of my plan and my system all the time, is how can I move more towards something that I can control, that I can say, I know that I put this design up, it's going to sell. And it's a job of piling up assets. That's what we're doing, right? Everyone kind of understand that concept? Like you're creating, every design you create is an asset that should serve you for weeks and months and hopefully years to come. And really, if you think about it as a business model, it's almost foolproof, really. It should be in many ways. If you produce enough assets and you continue adding assets on, then you should just keep on seeing the rise, which is what I've kind of been seeing throughout my business history. And that's what you're producing. You're producing assets. And it's not just designs that are going to sell on merch, but like a few other guys have said already today, how can you repurpose that to sell on another POD platform? That's the immediate one, like, oh, of course, you can take your designs and sell them on Redbubble. How can you take that design and produce 10 designs from the same artwork and sell it on mugs or sell it on whatever? Or how can you license that art somewhere else or to someone who doesn't sell on merch or other companies? So there's lots of options when you have some, assets that have some value that you can do things with. So piling up assets. I wanted to talk a little bit about, this might be a bit basic for some of us, but what kind of categories and what kind of designs can you create? What can you create things around? So if we just go through these, like movies and TV, is that a yes or a no? Bands and artists? No. Politicians and politics? Yeah, not really sure, but maybe. Adult content, profanity? Not with merch, but on other platforms, certainly. Parody and mashups? No. Sports teams? No. Celebrities? Funny novelty gifts? Yes! We got one! Artsy and creative type stuff. Humanities, so politics, religion, history. Great opportunities there. Popular culture, almost certainly. And events and holidays. So there's a lot of stuff there. So I kind of just blocked them out. Oh, it's kind of a bit weird colors, but so those are the areas that you want to focus on with merch. And now, of course, we've got people who are going to chance things with some of this kind of stuff. And I would just say, like, why waste your time? Just focus on that which you know you can do. And there's still a lot of opportunity around all this stuff. And I know this is kind of basic stuff for a lot of you, but what I've realized over the years is that it's very easy to get distracted and think, oh, there's a hot opportunity, around here. But there's so much opportunity here that's evergreen, that's safe, that you don't need to fool around with the stuff that's not safe. So just don't waste your time with stuff that's time wasting. Splitting your time. So I was thinking about, someone on a lower tier, and let's say that you're serious, you're committed, you've got your merch account ready, but you also want to make the most of Redbubble and TeePublic and these other opportunities. How should you split your time? How should you split the designs that you create? And I thought this would be a great kind of starting point of what you might do. So I would split it into thirds, and I would spend a third of your time building designs that are focused specifically on your brand. Now, that might be, let's say you've looked around, you've got an idea, you're going to say, I'm going to create a brand around dolphins or something like that. Okay, so it's dolphins. So you're going to spend a third of your time creating designs specifically around dolphins. Now, you're going to list them on merch as well, but when you list them on merch, you're going to use your brand name. You're going to say dolphin shirts or whatever as a brand name. And, funny dolphin shirt or cute dolphin shirt, dolphin rainbow shirt, whatever it is. So that's going to be your brand. And then you're going to do stuff that's merch focused. So by this I mean that because merch is such a powerful platform, you want to make use of that. And there might be designs that are merch, you spot opportunities that are going to sell on merch. Maybe you've used something like Merch Informer. You've seen that there's things that are flying around that you can hop on. However you find those opportunities, Merch Informer is a great one to use. However you find those opportunities, spend a third of your time focused on that, because what that's going to do is create some cash in your pocket that you can then reinvest in your brand and that kind of thing. And then I've said a third on what I would call boilerplate designs. Does everyone know what I mean by boilerplate type designs? So yeah, something that is something that you create kind of a template and then you'd be able to reproduce it many times over. So, here I am, a teacher killing it, princesses are born in July. Princesses are born on the 22nd of July. Princesses are born on the 22nd of July at 3 p.m. in the county hospital, and are born weighing 5 pounds, 6. That's the future, right? No, I don't think so. But boilerplate. Now, don't let me limit your thinking there. Boilerplate does not just mean text designs where you just replace one level of text. Can anyone think of any other examples of what might be a boilerplate? Sure.
With different images, so I just really like cows, or I just really like...
Exactly, yeah. It could be, instead of something where you replace the text on everything, you replace the image. It could be something like states, the silhouette of a state. It doesn't have to have any text on. It's Texas, now it's Tennessee, now it's da-da-da-da-da. It could be animal silhouettes, like you just mentioned, something like that. It could be an art style that some kind of style that then you replicate for lots of different things. So there's many ways of approaching boilerplate, but what I simply mean by that is it's something where you would have a database usually or some kind of list that you're going to push through this system and it's going to spit you out with 100 or so designs that look very much the same. And you're not having to sit down for each design and go, okay, let me think, I need to find a design now. Let me look on Amazon, let me think. So that's what I mean. So this would be, I think, a rough, like if you were just starting out, I think that would be a rough way. And obviously as you grow your business and as you see what works, you'd be able to kind of shift the percentages there. And ideally what you want to be working towards is where your brand is going to be eating the most of that pie and producing the most money for you. And you don't have to spend too much time chasing, just things that are only going to work on merch. Does that make sense to everybody? Because there's opportunities on merch. You come across them occasionally. You're like, it works great. It's going to make money. I could put a design up. It's going to sell tomorrow, but it's not going to sell on any other website. It's not going to sell on my own brand. It's not going to make sense next month or the month after. Like Eclipse shirts. I mean, we keep saying that Eclipse is finished, but Ken, are you still selling Eclipse shirts today?
Like 10 to 30.
10 to 30 a day, Eclipse shirts. Who is buying these Eclipse shirts? Are these Eclipse shirts for the one that just passed, or is it the next Eclipse that's coming?
I'm getting on that.
You're getting on that one. He's getting on that one already. Okay, let me talk a little bit about the perfect pop culture t-shirt. Does everyone know what I mean by pop culture? I mean, it's kind of a nebulous term anyway. It could mean a lot of things, but what I mean is like, in fact, let me just show you. So let me go through here. So the perfect pop culture t-shirt, I just threw this together, but obviously we got kind of overlapping circles here. Trend or topic. So that's going to be the first circle. So let's pick a trend. Let's say it's Eclipse or whatever. And then let's say this is what we've got here. So this means existing visual reference. So I'm trying to sound complicated and intelligent. Can you tell? Existing visual reference. So I'll give you an example of that, but let me just get to the third one. An existing textual reference. So that might be a slogan or a funny saying or something. So if you have these three, then these are the areas where, can you see the red there, or does it all look orange to you? So obviously you could combine a trend or a topic with an existing textual reference. Can anyone give me an example of what something like that might be? Nasty woman? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, no. See, when I say existing textual reference, what I'm thinking is something like, yes, keep calm and carry on. So you take a trend or a topic like Eclipse, and then you put it together with keep calm and carry on, and you get keep calm and look at the eclipse. But you spend some time thinking about this and you'll be able to come up with obviously something a bit better than that. But yes, that is a perfect example of a textual reference. And then a visual reference might be something like, any ideas, any top of the head kind of things? Something that works as a visual but not necessarily text. Let me show you some. But anyway, let me just say that obviously if you got something in the middle that was a trend or a topic, or for example, it might, let's not say topic, let's say trend. It's a trend that's happening right now. So it's Eclipse, or it's basket of deplorables, or it's, I don't know, any of the big trends that we've had. You guys know them. So it's some trend. You find some existing visual reference that's already around in pop culture. You find some existing textual reference. And then if they all combine together, then you've got the perfect pop culture shirt in the middle there. And so let me give you some examples here. So does anyone know what that is? Joy Division. Anyone know where Joy Division are from? Ian Curtis was from Macclesfield, which is where my wife was born. So obviously you either know that reference or you don't, but it's the cover of a Joy Division album. It's just kind of a popular t-shirt. And the thing I would say when you're looking to do the perfect pop culture t-shirt, for visual references, what you probably want to find is something that exists as a t-shirt and is already a popular t-shirt. So for example, anybody recognize that one? The Three Wolf Moon? Did anybody do a Three Wolf Moon Eclipse shirt? See, that would have been gold, right? I should have done that. Next time. Well, I would have said Three Wolf Eclipse, so I would have been safe. Anybody know who that guy is? No. Obama, I think. There's another Obama one. Oh, no, sorry. Sorry, I'm not getting political. I'm not playing games. So visual references, okay? So there's no text involved on any of these. These are, Che Guevara is probably the perfect, popular culture reference. People, if you talked about like the most popular T-shirts of all time, it might be up there. And it's just a visual, it's great. And if you guys racked your brains, I bet you could start coming up with these kind of things. And if you're out on the streets, you'll just see, I saw Benny, did you have like a Run DMC type thing on? So great. So, I just noticed that, if like the Run DMC logo, that's kind of visual and text together. But these are the kind of things I'm talking about. So you take something that exists already that people immediately recognize, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whatever, and then you combine something with that. So, where am I here? So text references, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Ask me about my feminist agenda. Sorry I'm late, I didn't want to come. Make Obama president again, this kind of stuff. So you see what's happening with these things here? So they're taking some, the Make Obama one, that's obviously that has taken an existing phrase, make America great again, and combined it with Obama and come up with this. So, but for phrases, you might say, ask me about such and such. Ask me about my tomato plant. Ask me about my, whatever it is, something or other. Sorry I'm late, I didn't want to come. It's probably a bit of a harder one to combine with something, but you get the idea here? Am I making sense to everybody? So if we put those two together and then we come up with some of the perfect stuff, so did anybody see this one? I think this is photoshopped actually, but you get the reference there, the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. Everybody knows that one because you're all Americans, right? Patriotic Americans. It says "No step on sneck." So if you're familiar with kind of, I don't even know where this came from, but with kind of internet meme culture and stuff, people who have snakes as pets, there's like a subreddit where they post pictures of their snakes and they call them snacks for some reason. It's a snack. And then, everything kind of gets shortened text-wise. And you get stuff like no step on snack or no tread on snack and stuff like that. So that's kind of a perfect example. Nope. Another easy one, taking the Obama, the visual that everyone recognizes, combining it with a new visual, and then, you've even got the text element there with that one. I thought this one was funny, but obviously potentially risky. And I'm not saying, by the way, that any of these are safe for merch. I'm just trying to get your head, spinning and trying to think of some ideas. Salt and pepper. Everyone know? You have Peppa Pig over here? Okay. Yeah, I have a 2.5-year-old, so Peppa Pig is pretty popular. I am actually in my 30s. It's quite a nice one. So again, you're taking that visual reference that everyone recognizes. People might glance at it and then they look back and they go, okay, what did that say? And then they look back and, So this is kind of, I was talking about T-Fury and Busted Tees. This is like the bread and butter for those sites. So this is the kind of stuff that really, there's a market for this that really enjoys, the inside joke, that kind of stuff. So can someone tell me how to pronounce this word? Cthulhu. It's Lovecraft, right? Yeah. Lovecraft is the author, yeah? Okay. See, I don't know what this is, but obviously we recognize what it is, yeah? So Coca-Cola logo, and then they've combined it with this other thing. And obviously the Coca-Cola logo is so obvious that, there must be a million parody shirts around that. Again, is it safe for merch? No, probably not. Risky. And I have had plenty of merch designs that have been taken down because it looked a bit too much like the Dunkin' Donuts logo or something like that. So,
just as an aside, how many of you actually have rejected because you posted a crap?
Yeah, rejected as in taken down. Well, good question. I don't know the difference between rejected as in taken down versus those that have got up and have then been taken down. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I've had a few. I was looking it up the other day, and it's something like maybe 30 or 40 over the past couple of years that have been taken down by Amazon. So yeah, there's been a few there. No problem. So the perfect pop culture shirt would be take a trend or a topic, find some existing visual reference that might fit. And obviously, there's going to be ones that are going to be the perfect fit, that are going to be like, like three Wolf Moon with Eclipse. That's like, that would be, yeah, that would be great. And if you can find some existing textual reference as well that makes sense, then great. And, I've had a few of these that really took off and hit. But honestly, it's hard to get something like this that takes off just within merch, without any kind of external input. So most of what I've been able to do is I do something like this, and then I'd post it on Reddit, and then it would blow up, and then that would translate into a lot of sales on merch. So it's rare that you would be able to create something like this, just post it on merch, and then see the traction. Now, it's possible, you kind of have the snowball effect with Amazon, but you're really relying on a lot of things to kind of combine there for you to get traction just within Amazon. So I would always recommend that you've got some kind of way of showing these creations, because this is valuable stuff. This is funny. This is stuff that Busted Tees would take off your hands, and T-Fury would sell it and post it to their 1,000 mailing list, if you get something that's right. And, it's trial and error like anything. I'm not saying this is easy, but I'm trying to give you guys some helpful, guide your path so you don't have to kind of, bump up against all the problems. So does that make sense to everybody? Is there any questions on that right now? Sure.
As a person in the UK, how do you keep up with pop culture?
Great question. I think I'm just naturally inclined. I don't know. I think, the UK culture is we are a very Americanized, all our top films, all our top TV shows almost American. So if something's big in the States, it's usually big in the UK at the same time. Except the Eclipse. Eclipse was not very big. I went out to look, and it was not there. But we never see the sun anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Do y'all have a son?
Oh, yeah, it just doesn't work. So, yeah, sorry, your question. Oh, how do I keep track? Yeah, I'm very kind of, internet culture, millennial generation. I've just grown up with this stuff, so it's second nature. I spend far too much time on Twitter and on Reddit and on Facebook. So Reddit, yeah. And I'm not saying, I understand, like, for a lot of us, that's like how it doesn't make sense to spend that much time on Twitter and Reddit just scanning. But if you want to do pop culture, I think that's kind of the price of entry, if you like. Keep yourself immersed in that world, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So let me get to this. So is anyone ready for some like practical stuff that you might be able to put into practice today? Okay. So you probably won't know this, but everyone know about TeePublic? TeePublic is just like merch, but it's its own website. TeePublic has an affiliate program for people who want to sell TeePublic designs and post links towards TeePublic shirts. They have a affiliate program that is set up through a website called Share a Sale. I don't know if you know that already. Shareasale.com. If you are able to sign up as an affiliate with Share a Sale, which I think anyone can apply, however, I think you might want to make sure you have a website or something that you can point to, because during the application process, Share a Sale is going to want to know, okay, where are you going to post affiliate links to? What's your business plan? So you can't just sign up and get started right away, so you're going to have some kind of backup. But if you sign up with Share a Sale, and if you get approved for the TeePublic affiliate program, then TeePublic sends out an email every week that shows you the top sellers that week on TeePublic, which is, as far as I know, this is the only way to get that information. Now, like a lot of things, there's going to be stuff in here that you can't touch, or that doesn't make sense, or that, there's a lot of like YouTubers and stuff who use TeePublic, so they're obviously driving traffic to their listings directly, so you're not really going to be able to do that on merch or anything. But occasionally you'll find some little gems in there. So if you're interested, and if you've got some kind of website that you can kind of show to Share a Sale and say, hey, look, I'm legit, I'm a real business, I write a blog, or you could do something really simple like my t-shirt review blog, or my t-shirt, funny t-shirt blog. And I'm just going to post affiliate links to t-shirts that I like. And, TeePublic hopefully then will approve you. That's all I did. I didn't have any kind of big setup. I just had like a domain, I had a simple WordPress website, and I went through the approval process. And then every Wednesday or something, you get this email. It says, these are the big sales. I don't know if you can read this, but it also says, top tags this week. Just here it says, top tags this week include Eclipse, Who'd have thunk it? Anime, and people are already gearing up for Halloween. So this is an email that goes out to TeePublic's affiliates. They want to help you sell shirts on TeePublic. So they're going to give you things that are happening, the searches that they're seeing, and all that kind of stuff. So that's just a quick one. Does anyone know this website? A few people. Is anyone using it directly with merch or with some kind of t-shirt related thing? Okay, so this is going to be exciting, I think. Let me just exit out of here. So this is IFT. I don't even know how you pronounce it. IFT. IFT. It stands for if this, then that. And it is a system whereby you can hook up different websites and different apps so they can talk to each other. So you can have, here's some examples. Hey Alexa, call my device, save new photos to Google Photos or whatever. So it kind of it says, if this happens, then do this. And it allows things to happen automatically. So does everyone reads Neil's blog, right? Merch Informer blog. How many people remember his post a few months ago about Reddit and Reddit Tracker? Everyone remember that one? So that was a hugely valuable post, and I think that it was that tactic alone, not necessarily exactly the way Neil used it, but using Reddit Tracker to kind of track comments and stuff on Reddit. Hugely valuable for me last year. If you're looking at getting into trends and popular culture, just really valuable. But the problem with Reddit Tracker is you have to pay for it. If you want to do more than like 2 searches or something, you have to pay. So there's a free way to do a similar kind of thing with this website. So let me show you how to do it. So I actually, as I was sat there this morning, I signed up, because I don't really do this anymore, but I just thought I'd reapply and sign up. It literally took me 2 seconds. I just signed in with my Facebook account on if this, then that. And then you just go to like My Applets, which is their name for like the process. And if you click on New Applet, then you'll be able to, and then you just click on this one here, I think. So it's got a Reddit integration. So you choose your trigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to choose trigger, new post from search. And then you can search for whatever you want. And what it's going to do is, as you can see it says there, this trigger fires every time a new post submitted on Reddit matches a search query that you specify. So every time someone posts on Reddit and it includes the word you're going to say, this is going to trigger. So we can just put in here t-shirt and create trigger. And what that's going to do is every time someone posts a new post on Reddit with the phrase or the word t-shirt in the title or in the body of the post, it's going to trigger. And then you can hook it up to say, when that happens, just email me. Send me an email. This is all ready to go, and I just hooked it up with my Facebook account, so it's just going to email my same email address. Create action. And then it will show us here what this is going to do. So if new post from search t-shirt, then send me an email at michaelessek@gmail.com. And then click finish, and that's done. So I did that this morning, and this is my email account since then. Now, a couple of warnings. You are going to get some porn stuff in there, so watch out. Because yeah, I don't care about the t-shirt stuff. Just kidding. So I just now you're going to have to filter through this because very little of this is going to be like really relevant and useful. And of course, like I just use the phrase t-shirt, but you can qualify that. You could say funny t-shirt or shirt or where can I buy this shirt? Different things like that. But I just starred a few that I just noticed this morning. One of them here. Okay, so this is one. So this is an example of the email that you get from IFT. So it says. So the title of the post is, what is your favorite t-shirt? So someone posted on Reddit this morning, this post, what is your favorite t-shirt? And if you click this link here, you see that blue link? That's going to take you through to Reddit and show you the post. Now, for some reason, the post has been removed, but all the comments are still here. So someone posted in the subreddit, Ask Reddit, and they said, serious question, what is your favorite t-shirt? And then all these people responded I don't know if you can read this one. Someone says, I have a red t-shirt that looks like a Coca-Cola top, but instead of saying enjoy Coca-Cola, it says enjoy bondage. And that's his favorite t-shirt. Someone's posted a link to a Redbubble shirt here, which is, let's just have a look at this. The Fresh Prince of Eternia is their favorite t-shirt. But, and this just goes on and on. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to find anything here that might be appropriate for merch, but if you do this every day, I mean, honestly, you're guaranteed to get something a couple of times a week that you can use and repurpose. And even if it's not an exact like design concept that you can immediately like replicate, it might just spin something in your head and you go, oh hell, that's a great idea. I can just apply that to this and rinse and repeat. So that's a great one, but even better ones than that, oh, this one's great. Sorry about that one, guys. That's not appropriate. Now, has everybody got their laptops ready for a great opportunity here? So someone's posted this to a subreddit called Movie Details, and it says, in The Shining, a scene has Wendy bring Jack breakfast in bed. In the reflection of the mirror, we see that Jack's t-shirt says Stovington on it. While not mentioned in the film, this is the name of the school that Jack used to teach at in the novel. And they've kindly provided an image of Jack in the t-shirt. So I was sat here this morning and I saw that come up. So I just thought, okay, well, let's just have a look over here on Amazon. And let's just have a look to see if anyone's done this already. So Stovington, I literally typed Stovington and Stovington Eagles shirt auto appeared. So I clicked it. Look what's here. You see how many results? 5 results. Can you see any Prime merch shirts here? Now, you look at the BSR, this thing's not killing it by any means, but hey, someone's buying them. There's no Prime listing, there's no merch shirt. If you're not making one right now, but there's a great example like that. That was perfect opportunity, you know. And I'm not saying this happens every day, but if you get enough designs like that and you build that up over time, this is a great, opportunity. Is it a safe, is Stovington Eagles a trademark thing? I don't know. I'm not messing with that, but I'm just giving you guys some ideas. So that's my my little tip for today. And honestly, last year I was doing this kind of on a daily basis, and that's how I was able to grow that account to like 10,000 a month. And there's opportunities everywhere, guys. This is not rocket science. And especially if you've got some kind of niche or knowledge or market that you've got kind of an eye on already, then you can really rocket this thing. So has everybody followed that? I know that was a bit fast, but you kind of follow what the process was there? Any questions on that? Sure.
You are looking at Reddit, would you go and put a link to one of your shirts?
I mean, that is a very... there's nothing wrong with that, and you can do that. And that's kind of what Neil's kind of process was to, get in the trenches and like do that. Obviously, you can drive sales that way. I use this more as a way to find inspiration for ideas. Exactly, yes. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. My concern with Reddit is, because it's kind of a manual process going through like all the comments and stuff and doing that, and people can see your Reddit history, so they can see what you've posted. So if they go to your account and they see that this guy just spends all day replying to people and saying, buy this t-shirt, buy this t-shirt, buy this t-shirt, it'd be like, okay, this guy's spamming it, and it's not great. But obviously you can have multiple Reddit accounts, you can game it like that if you wanted to, but it kind of depends what level you're at. Yes?
When you upload to Redbubble and T-Public and stuff, do you upload shirt designs, or do you focus on stuff that merch doesn't offer, like sweatshirts and mugs and stickers?
I sell on everything, so especially with T-Public, it's very easy to list one design and it's just automatically on everything. Redbubble is a little more time intensive, where you've got to add every product. But yeah, I mean, I don't focus on sweaters as such, but I mean, there's some designs that might be like, this is a design that's popular as a sweater. And obviously we can't sell that on merch, but I'd still list the design on merch, and I'd sell it on all the products that it made sense to sell on Redbubble and T-Public. So for example, if you had a design that was specifically for women, obviously you don't want to sell that on a men's t-shirt if you can help it, and vice versa, and things like that. And if there's, some kind of adult or profanity thing, you don't want to sell that on a kid's t-shirt. So yeah, depends on the design. And
Do you find that if you're uploading the t-shirt design on Amazon and then the same thing on Redbubble, do you see that they both sell equally, or does it? I'm just interested in the.
Yeah, it depends on the design. It depends on the market. I mean, I have designs that sell daily on Redbubble that very rarely sell on merch, and obviously vice versa. So it does depend on, like, Redbubble is quite focused on that pop culture, millennial kind of feel. And I think on Amazon you're able to reach, middle America a lot easier. And Redbubble isn't great for reaching middle America, but it does tend to attract that pop culture vibe. So yeah, it does depend on the markets. And because my bread and butter is the kind of pop culture funny stuff, that's why I've been able to make a couple of grand a month from Redbubble and TeePublic and the rest, and throw them all together. So I think, my advice would be that pick what's best for you. Like, if you're not really going to be in the trenches searching for pop culture stuff, then don't waste your time with it. Focus on what you can do, which you're good at, which might be farming t-shirts or vegan t-shirts or whatever, which are probably going to be a lot easier to sell on merch. And they might sell on Redbubble. Like, I would always kind of try it out and list, a few t-shirts on there and see what happens. But yeah, test the waters and don't overly commit until you've seen some traction on one or two of these sites.
Okay, and I have one more question.
No.
Do you find that graphics sell better on Redbubble or graphics and text? Because I find that I get little traction on just text. It's not until I add a graphic in that it actually.
Yeah, my best sellers are graphic with text. I've had a few bestsellers that are text only, but usually my bread and butter, again, to keep using a phrase, is graphic with some kind of textual element. And Redbubble is, I don't know, I don't think, like people say on the groups all the time, is it better to do text only or to do graphics? And I'm like, you're asking the wrong questions. Like, you're asking, no one sits down at a computer and goes, I want to buy a text only t-shirt. I want to buy a graphics only t-shirt. They sit down and go, I want to buy a dolphin t-shirt for my daughter who's turning 6 in November, and I'll search dolphin t-shirt, kids, 6-year-old. Oh, hey, here's a t-shirt that says, I'm a little dolphin, or, this little dolphin's turned 6, or dolphins are born in September or something. And they're going to go, great, okay, amazing. So that's the way, people sit down and purchase and go through the process. So yeah, don't think about text only versus graphics. Just think about markets, who are you serving? Who are the people that you're trying to reach, and do it that way. Any other questions on this kind of point right here? It's okay, yeah, fire away.
I was curious where you see Amazon merch 2 years from now.
That's a great question. I'd love to hear the answers tomorrow from from the Amazon guys. Yes. I think that they are gonna, we already see them moving into the brand space, and that's kind of, and I think, we'll see hoodies, we'll see sweaters eventually. I don't know when. We'll see them expanding into other markets and the UK and all these other Amazon sites. I think that Amazon wants to, obviously wants to dominate this market, and it wants to reach as many customers as it can. I think if I was Amazon, I would want to crack down on crappy designs, crappy sellers, people who are copying people who are not bringing any value, people who are scatterbraining all over the place. I'd want to be working with people who are committed. I'd probably want to be working with people who had their own website, who had their own brand, who had their own social media accounts and that kind of stuff, and were serious about it. That's just my opinion. Like, I wouldn't want Amazon to become Zazzle or Cafe Press, where it's just piles and piles of products that, you take every design and it's on a keyring and it's on this and it's on that. I think Amazon wants a level of quality above that for their perception in the marketplace. Whether they think the same as me, I don't know, but that's kind of the way I think, and that's, I see a kind of congruence there between what I'm thinking and where Amazon might be heading, in that I want to move away from individual standalone designs and more towards a brand that I can be the best at. I want to be, if I could, if I did have a goal for my business or something, it might be like, I want to be the best pop culture t-shirt website in the world. I want to be, the Busted Tees or the Snorg Tees or the $6 Tees. I want to be the place people sit down at their computer and they go to that website and they buy a t-shirt from there rather than searching on Amazon they might buy my design. Does that make sense?
And that goes back to the larger question of branding. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That goes back to the larger question of branding, and then I've been thinking about this because of what that guy over there said and a couple other things where I'm actually thinking about building a brand on a Shopify website.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I'll keep a lot of my branded stuff over there and then maybe sell it through AMS on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And then as Amazon decides to find, I'm thinking out loud, this is, who knows, God knows if I know what I'm doing or not, but the point is, if I have a strong enough brand on my own website and through them, if they ever decided to select brands they wanted to represent, well, I've got an edge up on merch if I did it that way. I mean, is anybody else approaching with
Yeah,
that
you're
kind
thinking
of
the
stuff?
right way. I mean, when merch started, it was, what's your brand name? I think the original guidelines, like the title said, you should write your title like this. You should say brand name, and then you should describe your t-shirt, and that's how you should do your thing. So that's what Amazon was thinking. Like, we are going to work with brands. We're going to work with IP owners. We're going to work with people who have apps and games and this kind of thing, who want to sell their t-shirts. So, yeah, think brand. Don't think, how can I, think of a little design that might sell tomorrow once or twice, So you're thinking along the right lines, definitely.
Okay.
Is that okay for now, everyone? I'll just race through the last bits of my slides, if that's okay, and then I'll take some more questions. So we did the 2 quick tips was TeePublic share or sale affiliate on the similar lines there. So with the affiliate thing and the share or sale thing, the idea is you obviously we're all looking for the next idea or the next trend or something that might sell, so that we can create designs that are more likely to sell rather than designs that are less likely to sell. I mean, you can sit here and just, rack your brain for 10 funny t-shirt ideas, and you might come up with 10, and one of them might sell, but you're probably not going to create that many that sell. Or you could go something like, Merch Informer and find what's the top-selling designs and create similar designs to those. That's going to be much more likely to sell. And something like TeePublic, the affiliate thing, the share or sale thing, is just another way to find designs that are more likely to sell than less likely. You've got some extra support there for what you're creating. Along those lines as well, like I would just recommend, if you've not already, just put your email in on Redbubble. If you scroll down to the bottom of Redbubble, I think they have an email newsletter. Just put your email in there, put your email in on TeePublic, sign up for everyone's newsletter, because they're going to email you every day with like what they think is hot, what they think is trending. We're all in the same boat, really. You're going to be a partner on this licensing journey. So they're trying to sell to customers, and you can just see, okay, what are they pushing today? What are they pushing this week? And often, like TeePublic's email, I think they email at least once a day. Busted Tees is similar. Snorg Tees, all these funny t-shirt websites. And if funny t-shirts aren't your thing, but there's some other brands that exist in your space, then make sure you do the same thing with those and just immerse yourself in that space. And we had the if this then that thing for Reddit and finding ideas that way. So what time am I done? 1:15?
You can go to 3:30 if you want.
Does anyone want me to go to 3:30? All right, let's do it. Big merch mistakes. Honestly, I see a lot of people message me on Facebook, and they say, will you take a look at my designs and review them? And I'll say, okay, just show me. And honestly, I don't understand where people are coming from. Like, show me a design that is the ugliest possible thing you could imagine, with no possible market that would ever want to buy it, with no possible link to any trend or any topic.
So what do you say?
I just say, don't quit the day job. Just keep doing what you're doing. But no, I say, look, you come in at this all wrong. I think people see, for somehow this idea has got going that you can just pick an idea. Anyone seen Anchorman? The movie Anchorman? What's the guy's name? He's like, I love lamp, I love floor, like brick. Like people are like bricks in this. They're just like floor. I'm going to make a t-shirt about the floor. Ceiling. I'm going to make a t-shirt about the ceiling. I just need to make 100 of them, and some of them are going to sell. It's going to work. Like, seriously, I think people are thinking like that, but that's not the way to do it. You know, you've got to find some way of tapping a market or find some knowledge about it. And people produce designs that aren't T-shirt designs. And by that I mean that they're producing designs that, you know, it might work on a postcard, or maybe it would work on like some of them won't work anywhere, but you know, it's just they've just created something in Photoshop and then just whacked it over onto a T-shirt. Well, that's not a T-shirt design. You know, T-shirt is a big word. It covers a lot of markets and a lot of things, but it's, you know, if you think about the T-shirt and the top-selling T-shirts of all time, or if you go into Hot Topic or whatever and look through the T-shirts, you're going to see that there's a pattern that repeats itself with these designs. And let me see if I get through this quickly. So one of the things is too many colors. People just have way too many colors on their designs. And there's a couple of reasons why I think it's smart to limit yourself. Number one is that you look professional if your T-shirt has just a few colors. It just looks nicer. It might just be me, but like if I see a design that's got like it's black, like Benny's wearing a Run DMC inspired thing, it's black, it's red, it's white, you know, you just get it. It looks nice. It's not complicated, you know, it's clear. And I would limit yourself to 3, maybe 4 colors across your design. In most cases, don't take any of this as like hard and fast rules, because there's always going to be, you know, anomalies and stuff. But I like to limit myself to 2 or 3 colors. The other side of that is that obviously before we went to print on demand, we were doing screen prints of T-shirts. Is everyone familiar with like screen printing and how that works? So you have one block of color that's applied to a shirt, and then you have another block of color, and it's one solid color. You know, it isn't like purple, and then it's a gradient, and then it's a different color. You know, and you would be limited. You know, it would be cost efficient to keep your colors down, because otherwise you have to like get all this ink on. It's a lot of ink. It's a lot of time. So I always had at the back of my mind when I was starting out, maybe at some point it's going to be more cost efficient. If I have a T-shirt that blows up, it's going to be much more cost efficient to switch to screen printing for that. I think like Teespring used to do this or something if they had a design that was selling hugely. Maybe even Amazon's doing it, I don't know. But if they can screen print it, they might switch to screen printing. And I was thinking maybe I'll do that at some point if I have a T-shirt that sells like hotcakes. And if you do that, then obviously you don't want to have a design that's got 12 different colors on. You want to have something that's got 3 colors that you can send to a screen printer and they can produce it, and it can be, and your profits can go from whatever, $5 a shirt to $10 per shirt. And obviously you're making a lot more money on that. So too many colors. People seem to ignore the background color or just forget that there's a background color. And they'll produce a design with a black outline or a white outline and then offer it on a black shirt. Or you know, things like that, and I'll show you a couple of examples here. But for me, background color is part of the design, and you know, there's exceptions here. And usually, if you look at like fashion brands, they might offer one design on 2 different colors or something like that. But they won't offer it on 5 different colors. You know, they're going to offer it on a couple of specifics. So don't ignore the background color, and don't make a background color the last thing you think about. In my design process, the background color is something I send to my designers. I say, you are going to design this for a black T-shirt. So don't use black in the design, of course, because it's going to be printed on black. So use white, yellow. I don't tell them the colors to use, but I make sure they know what the background of the T-shirt is going to be. Gradients, small text, hard to read text, all kind of rookie errors. Gradients, you know, you can use gradients and it works okay on print on demand. But again, if you wanted to go to screen printing, it wouldn't be ideal. Small text, so text that is just kind of, you know, too small, doesn't really appear well on the shirt. Or hard to read text. Excuse me, so maybe the text is too decorative or something. It's not really easy for people to read from a distance is usually my kind of thing. And obviously remember that people are scanning through these shirts. They're looking at a tiny little thumbnail image on Amazon as they're zipping through that while they're watching TV, while they're playing on Facebook and everything else. So, you know, you've got to grab the attention there, and you want to make it as clear as possible that this T-shirt is what they were looking for or whatever. And poor placement, like, you see this a lot. I was just telling Neil yesterday. So does everyone know like the printed pocket T-shirt kind of trend, I guess you could call it, or whatever? So I had like a copycat. He like took my design that I did, which was like a printed pocket, and then he printed it like here. Like a massive like Joey pouch on the front of the T-shirt. Like, You idiots. So yeah, all of that goes to say, like, why would you want to make ugly shirts? Or some people might ask, why would you go to the effort to make a nice design when we know that on Amazon poor designs sell, like crappy designs can sell? And I would say, yes, crappy designs sell today, but as this marketplace gets more crowded and gets more competitive, the crap is going to go down and the quality is going to rise up, and you want to be in the top half of that battle. So I think I've got a couple of examples here of, does anyone know Johnny Cupcakes? Like a pretty big t-shirt brand. So this was just a good example. I was just looking through his website and like, this is a great example. I think there's 4 colors here. There's the red, there's the blue, dark blue, there's a light blue, there's a white, oh, there's a yellow as well. So what's that? 5 colors. But again, like, this is the kind of thing, like, it looks nice as a t-shirt. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a design that someone's just whacked on a t-shirt. This has clearly been designed for a t-shirt. You see what I mean here? This is just another example of something, kind of designs that I think work well. So this is just 2 colors. If you can't read it, it says, the internet, please enjoy everybody's opinion. But again, it kind of, you know, it's just a simple 2-color, that's 2 colors, guys. That's navy and pink, and that's all that it is. And it's a simple, you know, design, but it's funny, it's nice. Abe Watch. A few more colors on this one, but again, it's like you know, it works as a t-shirt. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd flick through it, you'd be like, it's funny. It's clearly designed for a t-shirt. It's not like a cartoon that's been smacked on a t-shirt. Like, you know, take some New Yorker cartoon and just whack it on a t-shirt. It's been designed to sell as a t-shirt, you know, to give the kind of summer t-shirt vibe, whatever. So this was just an example I saw yesterday, like, just a horrible, horrible t-shirt. I mean, first of all, if you're going to do a Halloween shirt and not offer it on black, like, what's the matter with you? And then, I mean, the artwork is horrible. They've obviously ripped it from somewhere or something, but there's like one skeleton leg that's on there. I don't know. I don't get it. I'll make a prediction. I don't think it's going to be a big seller come Halloween. So just a bad one. I mean, oh my goodness. I'm sorry if this is your shirt, by the way. Someone's put a graphic of a fife on a shirt. And as you can see, it just ends up looking like little more than a diagonal line on a red shirt. But, yeah, find the fife. Just, I don't even know what to say. You know, you guys get it. This is a terrible. This has not been designed as a t-shirt. Even if you sat down at sat down at a computer and said, "I want to buy a Fife t-shirt. I want a Fife t-shirt," and then you put in Fife t-shirt into Amazon, and this came up, you still wouldn't buy it because it's horrible. So at least, you know, create the right. You know, people like ask me. You know, what's the right design? What's the perfect design? There is no such thing as the perfect design. There's only the perfect design for the perfect market. And you've got to get that thing right. And I don't know what the perfect design is for the Fife market, because I'm not a Fife player. But it's not this. Even if you're into Fifes, you don't want a t-shirt that is just a picture of a Fife, right? Like, you want something, you've got to be a bit more creative than that. You've got to find some way to create something. So that was me. Is everybody ready for a blatant sales pitch? Let me see your hands. So Chris said we could just pitch.